Hello and welcome back to another video. This week on Magic Arena, there's Midweek Magic Historic Pauper. And this is a great way to just get easy cards or easy cosmetics and when you get your third win. But Historic Pauper doesn't really exist as deck list out there. Historic Pauper deck lists don't really exist on the internet. So I made a bunch of decks for you today to get through this queue as fast as possible with different archetypes so you can unlock your midweek magic. Our first deck, Bounce. So we're trying to take advantage of bouncing really wonderful enchantments like Hopeless Nightmare, Omen of the Dead to bring creatures back, Tithing Blade to sack your opponent's board, and Omen of the Sun to gain life and make 2 1/1 white soldiers, and Lembas to get card advantage by bouncing them with Core Fisher, some Flicker Fake, some Avery Mechanics, Scroll Shift, and Stockpiling Celebrant. Well, here we have a next deck. It is mono red. Unfortunately, cards like Lightning Bolt are not allowed on the format because in a Magic Arena, they still believe that Lightning Bolt, even with a common printing and paper, is still rare. So we can't play Lightning Bolt, but it's more of like a mid-range burn shell or fast burn shell. We have Chain Lightning. We have Firebrand to deal with like 1 damage problem mana dorks. Foundry's Feet Denizen. We play a lot of red creatures, so this card is solid. I like playing with it. Lava Runner is a 1/2, usually comes in as a 2/2 with haste. 2 toughness is really powerful in a format with a lot of 1 power creatures. Pillar Flame is great. It does 2 damage to any target, but it exiles. There's a lot of stuff with 2 toughness that you can exile and it helps you out. Shock is just a solid 1 mana, do 2 damage, which is great. Waldarian is amazing 1-drop because often you're flooding out in this in some formats when the game goes on really long, so the blood token is a 1 way to filter out your land drops you can hold on to. We have Reckless Impulse here. Exile the top 2 cards of the library until the end of your next turn. You may play these cards. We have Thermo Alchemist. We have a lot of burns, so Thermo Alchemist is helpful to just do 1 ping of extra damage over and over again. Pyromancer is Pyromancer, deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker, and we have Scour the Critics. I feel like going up higher. Scour the Critics, which is just another form of Lightning Bolt that we can trigger so often with Spectacle. So we have another deck here for the Historic Pauper queue. We have Chitterstorm. So we're building a deck around this card, which is Storm, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. So his goal is to ramp up as high as possible and make a ton of squirrels. We have our Llanowar Elves on 1, we're playing green, we gotta play some dorks. We're playing Faithless Salvaging on 2, you discard a card, then draw a card, and this has Rebound. First aid class, whenever creature you control enters this turn, put a 1/1 counter on it, and it gains haste until end of turn, and we learn, which we have sideboard for. Namesake Chitterstorm. We got some Explore to play additional land. We got some Goblins to make red or green spells cost 1 less. We have Relay. Exile the top card of your library during your next turn. You may play that card with Storm. We have Seize the Spoils. Discard this card, draw 2, and create a treasure. We got Llanowar Visionary. Creature enters, draw a card, and it's also a mana dork. We got Big Score in our 4-drop, so you discard a card, draw 2, and create 2 treasures, as well as Big Score, which does the same effect. So we have Environmental Sciences in sideboard, we got some Pest Summoning, we got some Induction of Prophecy, scry 2 and draw a card, Elemental Summoning, create a 4/4, Introduction, exile non-land permanent, its controller draws a card, and Fractal Summoning, create a 0/0 green and blue Fractal creature token, put X/1/1 counters on it, whatever X is, and these are our learn cards in our sideboard today. Our next deck probably will be a much hated deck in your queue, but it's going to be really simple if you can get it off without being succumb to sacrifice effect, is Bogles. So with Bogles, we start with the Armadillo, which has Ward. It's a 0/4 body, really strong, but the Ward helps more than you'd think. A Cartouche, this is how we get around sacrifice effects. We put this on a creature, makes another body. There, your armor is just a classic common card. This creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Surprise, we have a lot of enchantments. There's 2 different arts and 2 different printings, so in case you have it in the standard and the uncommon slot, you still can use this version. The Audacity here, press creature. This is how we get trampled over these problematic token decks that do exist in this format. We have the Scout, which is our classic hexproof Bogles staple. We got our Toadstool Monitor, another one that has Ward for 1-drop, 1/1. It's a way that we can still suit this up, and it can be pseudo hexproof and it can still go across the finish line. And then a fun card that we found is a Nyxborn Hydra. It's a way to bestow our creatures with an X value on it, and it enters with X 1/1 counters. And then for each enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each 1/1 counter on this aura, and has reach and trample. So this is another way that we can do a Eternal Armor style effect with more than one counter, as well as get trample to get across the finish line. And in case you never find trample, we can give it flying, and this acts as a card advantage to replace itself with a card draw. We got Hero. Hero makes your auras cost 1 less. Hero is just a classic staple in Bogles. And then whenever you cast a spell that targets this creature, put 1/1 counter on this creature. If Hero stays on the battlefield for too long, it just starts going off. So, Citizen Training, I'm sorry I can't say this word, is another way to a card that replaces itself, and it also gives trample. And at our high end, we got Heliod's Pilgrim. It's a way to search for an aura card, and you see there's 2 different printings, so you might have this if you play Standard often. We got 2 of Squire's Devotion. It's another way to actually have lifelink. It's unfortunately on the higher end curve, so we only play as like a splash of, but we can find it with Heliod's pretty easy, and it makes another body against the sacrifice effects. We got the classic Ancestral Mass. So this is the same idea of Ethereal Armor, but +2/+2 for each other enchantment on the battlefield. So get your creature really, really big. And then this final one, Captured by Lagas. You can do 2 of this or 2 of Squire's Devotion. Enchant creature can't attack or block, and then when it enters, you get to support. So you put a 1/1 counter each of the 2 other target creatures that you control. So kind of a fun archetype that you don't see very often, we have Rakdos Madness. So this deck, I have the 2 versions of Faithless Looting on the screen. So one of this on Magic Arena, it is the rare version of Faithless Looting. However, Faithless Looting was printed at a common, so you don't have to waste a lot of rare wild cards to make this deck. So you can play what other version you want. We got Galvanic Blast. We showed this with the Shark Friend earlier. Does 2 damage to any target. If you have 3 or more artifacts, you get to do 4 damage instead. We got Pillar of Flame. Classic burn for 2 damage to any target and exiles creatures. And Voldaren is a way to do 1 damage upstairs, as well as looting with the blood token it makes. Got Vampire's Kiss, 2 damage, and you gain 2 life and 2 blood tokens. And you see these blood tokens are going to be very important very soon. We have Grab the Prize. This art is creepy, but this card is great because you're able to discard cards, and then if the discarded card wasn't a land card, it does 2 damage to each opponent. And surprise, most of the time, we're going to be trying to discard some of our madness spells. So another 2-drop is our Sneaky Snacker. When you draw your 3rd card in turn, return this card from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this is a way that if we pitch Sneaky Snacker to grab the prize on turn 2, Snacker is going to come back from the graveyard to the battlefield right away. We're rarely ever going to cast this for blue. It's only going to come back as our Pseudo Madness. We got Alms of Vein, another 3-life black burn spell that is madness for 1 black, as well as we have the red version, Fiery Temper, that does the same thing. It does doing 3 damage to the face. Losing life and damage are not the same, I will admit that, but it's still the goal of your opponent is losing 3 life or taking 3 damage to the face. Then we got Kitchen Imp. This is a flying haste. You can madness for 1 black. And then at the top of the curve, we have another way to have a looting effect to draw a card if you do discard a card if you do draw 2, and then somehow if you have 5 mana, it's a flying haster that has fire breathing that you can get across the finish line. So if you don't like those previous decks, I have more of a mid-range tempo deck for you. So this is a blue-white blink pauper deck, which hopes to gain card advantage and tempo by blinking Mana War or blinking Inspiring Overseer, which gains 1 life and draw a card. And how do we do that? We do that with cards like Cloud Shift. Exile target creature you control and return that to the battlefield under your control. We have Momentary Blink, which is exile target creature you control at instant speed as well. Return it to the battlefield under its owner control, but with flashback. We have Portal, which is another instant exile target creature, and then it gains first strike until end of turn. We have our Flicker of Fate, exile target creature or enchantment, which might be important. Also, you can cast this as a fun of, exile any target creature enchantment, including ones that you don't control, so it's a way to mess around with like Bogles decks. You have a way to have removal here. I have 2 copies just to show you there's different if you like different art, which destroy target attacking creature unless you pay 6 for the cleave cost, and then you just destroy target creature. It's a lot of It's a high costing spell, but the way this game is going to go with tempo, usually this card is really, really good. We got the Spirited Companion. We had Spirited Companion here, which is the cute best dog in the world. It's a way to just have card draw. We have our 3-drop, which is the same idea. It's not as cute as the dog, costs 1 more, but you gain 1 life for card draw. The Mana War we talked about to bounce target creature to its owner's hand. We have Late for Dinner, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield and create a food. So often if your Overseer, Doggo, or Mana War dies, you can bring it back with Late for Dinner and you can keep bouncing spells. We have Disciple of the Sun. This creature enters another way to get your target permanent card with mana 3 or less, so Doggo, Angel, and Mana War. Mole Drifter is great in here because you can cast this for Evoke, and we have many exile target creature cards at instant speed, so you can evoke Mole Drifter for 3 mana, exile it with Cloud Shift, and able to play Mole Drifter again, and you can draw 4 cards in 1 turn. It's really fantastic. We have Slavager of Secrets. When this creature enters, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is a way to start getting more bounce and more card advantage or get Late to Dinner back. And then at the high end, we can evoke this. It makes 2 1/1 white bird creature tokens for evoke 4, or you can just cast this for 7 mana. Sometimes you play this for evoke and blink, or just if the game has gone long enough, the Soul Migration for 7 is still a really strong card. Next deck we have is a red-black affinity in Pauper Historic, where you try to get a lot of artifacts down to make your affinity for artifacts higher top end, being cost for relatively free. So we have Blood Fountain, comes in, creates a blood token, sacrifices, return up to 2 target creatures from your graveyard to the hand. You have Clockwork Percussionist, a way that's an early artifact creature that can maybe replace itself if you have mana that is open. You have Experimental Synthesizer. When this artifact enters or leaves, exile the top card of your library until the turn you may play it, and then sacrifice to make it 2/2 Samurai. We have Kodaltha Rebirth, a way to sacrifice our artifacts and make 3 1/1 red goblin creatures. And then we have Sarpathian Simulacrum, I can't pronounce. This is just a 1/1 haster, and it's a way to deal 4 damage to creature if you have 4 mana. We got Deadly Dispute, a way to sacrifice an artifact or a creature to draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. We got a 1 of Deadly Dispute in a different art, in case you like this different art. We have Batterfist. It's an equipment. It's another artifact. It gives you a 1/1. But it's for Mirrodin. When this equipment enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 rebel creature token. So for 2 mana, you get a 2/2 that gets equipped as a +1/+0, and it's another way for Affinity to be triggered. We have Improvised Club as a way to additional cost of spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature, and it does 4 damage to any target, including the face. We got Cranial Ram. It's another living weapon, makes a little germ friend, and equipped creature gets +X/+1, where X is the number of artifacts you control. And then our top end, we got Refurbish Familiar. This is affinity for artifacts. Most of the time we just have to cast this for black. When this creature enters, each opponent to discard a card. For each opponent who can't, you draw a card. So even if you're not getting advantage of your opponent's hand, if they have no cards at the end of the game, you can still get some card advantage yourself by drawing a card. And then you have Mirror Enforcer. Hopefully you can just cast this for free by having 7 artifacts down on the field. We have Vault of Whispers as your singular land. So you only get this 1 dual land for 4 and this 1 vault for another 4, so you get 8 total artifact lands, which is not bad, still really strong, and hopefully you can get your Mirror Forcer down early. But if you don't like the Rakdos and you want to add more artifact lands to your suite and get more work on a mid-range game than a super go under aggro game, you can play Splashing Blue. Splashing Blue adds Seat as well as Thoughtcast, and it's more of a better grindier matchup deck because Thoughtcast is just fantastic. If we change a little bit of the suite, going for more 2-drops than 1-drops as the previous deck, we still have Blood Fountain, we still have Clockwork, we add Galvanic Blast because you're expecting to go more mid-range. We still have Deadly Dispute with the other alter art. We got Reckoner's Bargain here. You gain life equal to sacrifice permanent value by sacrificing artifact or creature, and you draw 2 cards. This is more helpful in the burn matchup. Bolt Scourge, which is a flying lifelink, again, is helpful in the burn matchup. We're still going to use Cranial Ram because Cranial Ram is just one of the best 2-drop artifacts in this format. I like this version over the other because of Ichor Wellspring. Ichor Wellspring is a soft card in my heart in in Pauper for a long time, so I like this list. Maybe I'm biased. And then we still have the Refurbished Familiar, which we just talked about, as well as the Mirror Enforcer as our top end. But instead, we get to play with more artifact lands. So you have 4, 8, 9, 10, 14, and 18 artifact lands. So you can really get your Mirror Enforcer down for free just based off your lands. Our second deck is a mono white Lifegain deck. So we have the normal suite of 1-drops that you see in standard and past mono white formats of Healer's Hawk. We got Lunarch Veteran. We got Patriarch's Humiliation. We got Seagate Banneret as a go wide pump when you're running too far in the. Our second deck is a mono white Lifegain deck where we have the typical mono white 1-drop suite of Healer's Hawk, Lunarch Veteran, Soul Warden. We got this Patriarch away as a 1-drop removal. Seagate Banneret in case we're flooding, we can pump our team. We have our cute best doggo on the planet that can draw a card. We got Celestial Unicorn. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter. Since we're gaining a lot of life, this unicorn gets really big. We have a way to replace itself and gain life with Overseer. We got Priest of Ancient Lore. When this creature enters, you gain 1 life and draw a card. More replacement. And we get the top end of our card is Search Party. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you tacked with this turn, and then when enters, draw a card. And I wish you good luck on your Midweek Magic Historic Pauper deck games today. If you like this content and you want more content like this, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.